Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing well and enjoying with my video. So this video is also from the Python playlist because I want to cover each and every topic of the Python. So this video is about the logging. Logging is one of the important topic I would say in Python because every developer need to integrate whenever they want to write a production grade code. And without logging every time it is very difficult to debug their code if there is any issue in the production, even in the dev as well. So logging is one of the important concept which help the developer to debug their code whenever there is any issue with that. Today's video will understand what is logging, type of logging, how we write logging in our code. So let's start. Let me share my screen and then understand in detail. Perfect. So I have created a logging.python and if you want to access these codes, where you can find, yes, right in the description. So I have given the link into the description of my GitHub repo of this file, so you can access from there. And one more thing guys, I have created the WhatsApp channel which link has given in the description. So if you want to join, you will not miss out any videos. Whatever video I create, I just post into that group, so people get benefit of that. They do not miss anything. Perfect. So let's get started. Now understand what is logging. So and why do we need that? So just imagine that you have created one application. So this is your application backend, okay, and this is your application front end. Perfect. So this is your front end. I will write front, and this is your back end. Back is with your Python, and front end is, let's say, Node.js, or let's say next.js. Perfect. So whatever the logic you have written over there using the fast API, there will be a transmission between your front end and back end. But now if there is any issue in your code, you have deployed that into, let's say, AWS or GCP or Azure. Perfect. On the cloud, you have deployed your backend separately and front end separately. Now your front end is not able to communicate with your backend, or maybe whenever it is trying to connect and get some data, it is creating the error. It is creating some error or throwing error. So in that case, as a developer, how will you identify where your code is doing wrong? Well, your backend having, let's say, 500 line of code. So immediately, how will you find that which line of code having an issue? So for that, you need a logging. You need the logging, guys. So what is logging? Logging is the process that handle the each and every event of your code, and whenever there is any trouble, you can find from the logging files. So what is logging? Logging is the way to record each and every event of the execution of code. What is logging? Logging is the way of recording each and every event of your code execution, and if anywhere it goes wrong, you can identify from this. Understand, right? This is what is logging. Now in this tutorial, we'll understand the logging in detail. What is logging? Then we will understand type of logging, and in which scenario we should use which type of logging, and then how to write your logging in code. So we'll understand these three. So logging, what is logging? You understand that whenever you have a certain, let's say, whenever you write a production grade code, So you write a logging along with your code. So from the logging file, you can able to identify from which file, which line of number the code is breaking. So there your logging file help. So now let's have its definition from the Wikipedia. Okay. What is logging? Logging is the way to record the message about program execution for debugging, monitoring, and tracing the error. As I said that if there is any error, you can identify. Use instead of print in real application. In the real application, we don't use the print. In simple line, logging is like a black box of an aeroplane. When something crashes, logs tell us what happened before the crash. So you can understand that this logging in your code is like a black box in the plane. Whenever your code crashes, it tells you what happened before the crash and what is the reason behind this crash, like a black box in aeroplane. Perfect. So now let's get started, guys. So now we'll understand type of logging. Type of logging. The very first one is debug. Debug. Then we have a information, info we call that, and this is nothing but information actually. Perfect. Then third one, we have a warning. Warning. And fourth one, we have a error. And fifth one, we have a critical. So these are the label of the logging. Perfect. So now at this moment, you will be thinking that we already have a print function, right? Then why do we need a logging? So of course, with the print also, you can understand the flow and execution of your code. But in that, there is no timestamp, right? In that, there is no label, like it all the errors or all the, I would say, stage, it will show the same kind of a flag. But logging having a stages and filters. So for the error, it will show something else. For the debug, we have something else. For the warning, we have something else. So I can say there is a filter in the logging that is making it more compatible with production grade code. But print is just, let's say you want to learn something or you want to just check the flow of any code which you are not aware of, then you can use the print function to understand how this code is executing. But print is not for the production grade code. Logging is for that. One more disadvantage of print. Can you store print written into the file for the later analysis? No. But in logging, you can store the log files into one txt file or log files, you can say, and later you can analyze that. So these are the difference between the print and logging. Perfect. Now let's understand how we write that. Okay. So very first thing, how we are going to integrate this logging into our code. So I'll write one basic code over here. Calculate the area of square. So what I'll do over here, I'll first want to integrate the logging as well. So I'll call import logging. So logging is the inbuilt I would say module in the Python. So if you want to write or integrate logging in your code, first you have to import that. Then you have to set the label of logging. So what I'll do over here, logging dot basic config and over here label equal to logging dot info. I want to set info. Why info? So we have a 5 type of logging over here. So debug, info, warning, error, and critical. So I have set the info over here. If I set info means logging can able to trace information, warning, error, and critical, all 4. If you set logging label equal to debug, it will track debug, info, warning, error, and critical. But if you set warning, it will trace only warning, error, and critical. I'll show you that one by one. Okay, but right now I just want to show how you can integrate logging in your code and what is the advantage of that. Okay, so I've given logging.basic config label equal to logging.info. After that, I'll write over here a def area, and I want edge over here. Perfect. And after that, there is I'll write over here logging.info, and just write over here received the edge as a parameter. So you can write anything under this. I'm just passing one string that will give some kind of information about this code, right? What is happening inside that code right now. Okay, so I've written receive the edge as a parameter. After that, I'll write result equal to edge into edge. Perfect. And then again logging.info, and over here I'll write area of square calculated. And if you want, you can also pass the result over here so that it will show under the log. And if you don't want, you can just remove that. And after that, I write return this result. Perfect. Then over here, just write over area equal to this area, and then you pass 20 to this. First run this line of code, and there is an issue. Logging has no attribute basic config. You need to change this to basic config. Okay, perfect. Now run this. See, info root receive the edge as a parameter and area of a square calculated 400. You have received this, right? Perfect. So with this, you can check in the log what is happening inside your code. Now we'll understand in depth what is the use of this debug, where we use this debug. Information you have just seen, but I'll show that also, warning, error, and critical one by one. Okay, so now we'll see the debug. So in which case we use the debug? So we use the debug for checking the variable value and function flow. So we use the debug for checking the variable value and function flow. So let's say over here I'd write user input equal to input, or let's say I'll write over here int, then input, and over here enter your age. Perfect. And then over here I'll write logging.debug received the user input, and you can pass over here user input, guys. This user input you can pass user input. Perfect. Now you just use f string over here. Now let's try to run this and pass over here, let's say 30. But you did not see anything over here as a logging.debug. Why? Because we have set over here info. It means that you will see only the message of logging from the info, warning, error, and critical, not for the debug. So you have to set that as a label over here. So what you will do over here, or let me show you some other example right now. So I'll create one over here. Debug is done, info is done. Let's create one error. Error is the next, right? Or warning we have next. I think we have a next as a warning. So let's see the warning over here. I'll come back again, like how you can set the basic config as a debug. But I want to show you that as we have set a label as a info, whether we able to access the warning or error or not. So I'll write over here warning. in which case you will use the warning. You will use the warning when something is not ideal, but still code is running. In this case, you are going to use the warning logging. Okay, so let me show you that. Over here, just pass logging dot warning, and you enter over here password attempt is getting high. So whenever there is something not ideal, but still the code can run, in that case we use the warning. For example, if there is an API key, you are using some, let's say you are building a Gen AI based application, and that Gen AI based application you are using, in that you are using the GPT API, OpenAI API key, and that API key you are passing as a flow. So in that case, you can use the warning that your API key is visible, right? Or something, let's say in case of password, if the number of time attempt to the password is high, then you can just give the warning of that. Perfect. So let's try to run this. Password attempt is getting high. You get it, right? Next, for the error, when you use the error warning, error logging, when your code is not able to execute, in that case you use the error logging dot error, and over here you write fail to connect to DB. That is the error. You are not able to connect to the DB. So in what case you will use the error? When something is wrong. When something is wrong and not able to execute the code. Perfect. In that case we use the error. So once you click on this, you will get the fail to connect to DB. That is the way you can use the error message. Error logging you use whenever you have something to show that is not able to execute. In that case we use the error. Perfect. Now let's see the critical. The next line of code is when to use critical. So critical we use when application is shutting down, and let's say system is about to crash. In that case we use the warning message, sorry, critical message. So over here logging dot critical system is crashing. Okay, now let's try to run this. You will get the message over here. So you have observed over here that we try to run all the code, and warning, error, critical, everything executed except the debug. If you want, I will show you this info also over here. So info is, let's say, when to use info. Whenever you want to show this flow, whenever you want to check the normal flow of the code, in that case we use the info. So logging dot info, and over here code is running fine, or let's say able to connect to database. Perfect. So if you run this line of code, it will also execute, but it has not executed. Why? Because we have set over here logging.info. It means that as soon as you set the level as the info, it will try to execute the below all filter of the logging. So we call this filter, guys, or you can say level. So highest level is critical, then error, and lowest is debug. So from the bottom to top. And if you have set info, then highest to info it will execute. If you set warning, highest to warning it will execute. So we have set over here info. That's why we are able to execute from info to critical. Now let me set over here level as a debug. So what I'll do over here, logging dot basic config, and over here I'll write label equal to logging dot debug. Okay, and then force equal to, you need to write force also, because you have already set one time what you have already set one time level. So if you want to again reset it again to a different level, then you have to use force equal to true. Okay, now try to execute this, and asking enter the user input. So I'll write over here 18, let's say, or 15. Debug root receive the user input 15. Now try to execute this, it will also execute. Now try to execute this, it will also execute. This will also execute. This will also execute. Now what I'll do over here, I will set the level as an error. So why we are setting this level? It means that I want to see only those logging in the code whenever there is a warning or there is an error. Other than that, I don't want to see anything. So it make your logging file more readable or concise or eye-catching where exactly I have a problem. Perfect. So that's why I said this time the error is the my logging level. So before that, I don't want to see anything. So now let's try to execute this line of code. Now again pass over here, let's say 16. See, this code has executed, but my log file has not printed anything. Now if you try to execute this, this code had executed, but log is not able to print anything over here. Again, over here also, log is not showing anything. Over here, it will show, and over here, it will show. Why? Because I have set the level as a error. It means that I only want to see those error or those logging where it actually creating the error. Perfect, guys. Now if you set, let's say, warning, you set warning. Now try to execute this. 15 I have given, code has executed, but logging has not given any message. Now coming to info, no message, right? Now warning will give the message or not? Yes, warning will give the message. See, password attempt is getting high, it is giving the message. Now if you come to the error, of course, because error is the highest I would say level compared to warning, so everything from high to warning will execute, so critical will also execute. So this is how is the label of the logging working in the code. Now let's see the example how we write those label in the code. So what I'll do over here, I'll first write import logging. Okay, then logging dot uh, basic config, and over here label equal to logging dot let's say I'll set info. So for that you will get everything except debug, right? And over here force equal to true. Perfect. We have set the logging. Now we'll create one function df and withdraw, and we'll write amount and balance. Perfect. Now over here, if your amount that you're asking is greater than your balance, in that case logging dot warning. And what warning you want to give? You want to give that you are requesting amount to withdraw more than balance. Perfect. Else return your amount, and also log over here. Info you have given, so you will log over here. Logging dot info amount has been released. Okay, so this is the function I have created. Now run this and then call this function withdraw. Now run this again and call this function over here, and I'm passing amount that I want to withdraw as a 2000, and my balance I'll passing, let's say 5000. Okay, now I'll write over here amount equal to, perfect, amount has been released. Now what I'll do, that I'll pass the amount as a 1000. As soon as I pass the amount as a 1000, I want to withdraw 2000. If you click on this, you're getting warning. You are requesting amount to withdraw. I am given the wrong spelling over here. More than balance. Okay. So this is how you can integrate warning and info together. Now let's see that how we can write warning, info, and next error also together. So what I'll do over here, I'll write def and over here calculator. Okay, and I'm passing a comma b. Perfect. Now what I'll do over here, as soon as I get this, I want to check. I want to first pass the logging info. Logging dot, or I will use the try catch over here. Because if you want to use the error, logging dot error, you need to use the try and error catch. So try, and then over here write logging dot info receive parameter a and b. Perfect. After that, I want to find the sum. So for that, if a is greater than b, what I want to do, that I want to do the division. So for that, what I want, that the a should be greater than b. So right over here, if a is less than b, if the a is less than b, then right over here logging dot warning. So I'm just randomly creating the function, guide. There is no meaning of that, but what I want to show you, that I want to show how you can write the warning, info, error all together. Okay, if the a is less than equal to b, in that case logging dot warning your in or past b meter is smaller than a, so division can't be possible. Perfect. And after that, we'll write over here else a divide by b, and over here it should be result equal to a divided by b, and then I want to write over here logging dot info division is done. Perfect. And then I'll write over here exception as e, and over here what I want to show, logging dot error, and just pass over here f, there is an error, and you just pass e over. So I have integrated over here info, warning, and error, all three together. Perfect. So what it's trying to do, it has taken a and b parameter. If your a is less than b, it will generate the warning, else it will do a and b. But if there is any error, it will try to log that also. So let's execute this. Done. And then try to get the result. result equal to a calculator and pass over here. Let's say first I'll pass 5 and then comma 10. So my a is, I'll write over here, a equal to 5 and b equal to 10. So my b is greater than a. So what should I get? I should get the warning. See, receive parameter a and b, then warning I have done. Passed b parameter is smaller than, so division can't be possible. And then we are also getting division is done. Why? Because it is out of the else. Once it is coming from the this if condition, that's why it is going to be over here. So what I want, if you want to see whether really the division has done or not, just try to execute this line of code and see. Actually, the division has not done. Why we are getting this over here? Because there is a bug in the code. It should be inside the else condition, guys. Now try to execute this and try to execute this. You will get receive parameter a and b. So the code has received the parameter a and b, but passed b parameter is smaller than a, so division can't be possible. We are getting the warning. Now what I'll do, I'll make this 15. Okay, now execute this. Receive a and b parameter, division is done. Now if you click on this, you should get something. I'm not returning that. Okay, I am not returning that, guys. That's why we are not getting return result. Now execute this and execute this. You get 1.5. Now again I'll pass this a as a smaller 5 and b as a 10. So now execute this and execute this. You are not getting anything, right? So there is an error, cannot be accessed local variable result where it is not assured with the value. Okay, so you pass over here this result. Now execute this and execute this. What is happening again? So in the code, I'm returning that result which is under the else. Okay, then I'm calling this calculator. I'm passing a equal to 5, b equal to 10. Perfect. And try to execute this. As soon as you execute, your info is receive parameter a and b. Perfect. Warning, passed b parameter is smaller than a, so division can't be possible, and you are not getting anything over here. Now you make this a 15 and b 10, so a is greater than b. So in that case, you receive the info, receive parameter a and b, and division is done. And if you try to execute this, you get 1.5. Now you pass b as a 0. Now try to execute this. You are getting error, receive parameter a and b. So this line till here is working fine. Then you are getting error, there is an error, division by 0. So from where you are getting this? You are getting from here, actually, error root. So this is how you can integrate the logging in your code, guys. Perfect. Now I'll show you that how you can write the custom logging actually. So what are the problem you have in the code, from which line of code you have a problem, and from which function you have a problem, that will reflect that. Okay, so let's try to see that part. So what I'll do over here, I will write logging dot basic config over here, and then I'll pass something over here that is called label equal to again logging dot info and force equal to true. Perfect. Then format equal to, I want to pass over here ASC time. Okay, and then I want to pass label name, and then I want to pass over here file name. Okay, it should be S, and then I want to pass over here. So these are the basically placeholder which I'm passing as a format. So from where I'm getting this, you can just explore the Python logging documentation. You will get what are the format I can pass over here. So I'm passing over here the time, label name, what kind of label it is, file name, from where it is, and line number. And then I want also the message, means the error I am getting. Perfect. Info true, and this is fine. Let's execute this line of code. Perfect. Now what I'll do, I will try to run same code over there, this one. Execute this. Let's see if we don't get any error. I mean, if there is no error in the setup of this logging, then I should get what I'm expecting to get as an answer. See, there is an error. So I'm getting first timestamp. Okay, timestamp, then label number. So here error. Okay, then it is showing the file name. So this is the file name it is giving. Internally it has taken this file name, guys. Okay, then after the line number where I have the exact issue, and then message. What is the message? There is a problem. There is an error, division by 0. Similar way over here, timestamp I'm having, then the label is info, then file name, then we have a line number, then we have this. Or if you want, I can show you that with the other file as well. So what I'll do over here, I'll create one test.py. In that test.py, or let's say I'll create one logging.py. Logger.py I'm creating. In that logger.py, I will write this line of code. Okay, I have written this over here, and for that you have to import over here logging also. Import logging. So you will be confused what I'm doing. Actually, I want whatever I have executed over here, this line of code and this line of code into different cell, I want to write those line of code into different file. So I have created one logger.py. In that logger.py, I have just copied this cell code. Perfect. Why I'm doing this? Because I want to show you how this is showing the file name also. Here my file name is logging.ipynb, but it is giving some number because it is internally taking file name actually. So it is not creating some meaning over here. For that, what I am doing, I am creating one logger.py. In that I am pasting this logging code. Perfect. And then test.py, I will call this function. I'll just copy over here. Now you will get some issue over here. Logging. Why? Because I don't have any logging code over here. So what I'll do, I'll write import or from this file. So I'll write from logger import logging. So I am also showing you one flavor of modular based coding. What is modular based coding? One of the, I would say, logic is one file, and I'm calling this logic into my other file. So for that I've written from logger import logging. Perfect. So that's why with this I am able to call the logging functionality of this file under the test.py. Perfect. Now what I'll do over here, I will just write same code whatever I have over here, this result. So I'll call this over here. Now how to execute this? I'll come to this terminal and write over here Python test.py. Enter. See, you have the timestamp, then you have a, let me come to this, then you have a label name is info, then file name test.py, line number 5. Line number 5 is this one, right? See, this is giving you this line of code. 5 received parameter A and B. Perfect. After that, the second logging which you have over here, which is giving you this timestamp, then error test.py, line number 13. Line number 13 is this one, right? There is error division by 0. See how this is creating the developer life easy. If you have any problem, you can directly come over here and you can see from which file, which line number I have a problem, right? Now let's make this as a 30 and try to execute this over here. See, info test.py, line number 5, receive parameter A and B. 7 passed B smaller than the So smaller than a, so division cannot be possible. If you want, you can also integrate over here. Let's say you can write over here label name. Let's say label name. Label name, and try to execute this label name. See, you are able to get that. With this, you can write over here file name. Okay, and over here you can pass line number. Perfect. And over here you can pass message, error message. Actually, error, it's not be always error, so just write message, logging message or message. Now execute this. See, label name, warning, file name, test.py, line number 7, message, this. So this is how you can write your custom file also of the logging. Now what I want, that I want to save this logging into some file over here. I want to save this logging. I just don't want to show this into the terminal. I want to also save into my file over here. So what we can do over here, what I'll do over here, I will import some of the library, import OS, and then from root import from, I'll show you what I'm doing actually. Okay, from root, import from root, then log file name, or I want to also import date time actually. So from date time import date time. Okay, then over here let's say now equal to date time dot now dot strf time, and I want first, let's say year. Why I'm writing all this, it will make sense, just give me a second. Okay, then I want the year, then I want the month, then I want the date. Perfect. And after that I want the hour also, hour, then I want the minute, actually minute, and then I want the second also, so it should be percentage second. Perfect. That is done. Now I want the file name, log file name, log file name, that is should be f string. Then I want this now, that should be under the I would say curly braces. Why? Because it should replicate whatever it get over here. So now then over here you can write dot log. Okay, I don't want to save directly over here, I want to create one folder. So over here folder equal to log artifact. Perfect. And it should be double inverted. Now create the complete log file path. Log file path equal to os.path.join. So it will join the path. So for that I'll first take this from root. What this from root is doing, if you want to see that, what I'll do, I'll just use one print function over here to show you in the terminal what this from root is doing and how this is helping us to create the folder. Then from root, then comma, and I want this folder name after that. Okay, and then I want this file name. Okay, so what I'm doing, from root will try to land us under this Python from all YT playlists. It will bring till here. After that, I'm creating one folder that is log artifact. And after inside this log artifact, I'm going to create this log file, log file. Yeah. So I'm going to create this log file. The name of this log file will be this timestamp.log. Perfect. This timestamp.log. All right, then what I want is I want to create over here, give comma, and then write over here file mode equal to W. It means that I don't want to create the I don't want to show that into terminal. I want to create into the file. Over here you just pass, give the comma and pass over here file path equal to this file path, log file path. But one more thing, guys, it will give the error. Why? Because this log artifact is not created over here. So we want to create that also. So how you can create that? You have to write over here os.mkdir, make dir, this make dir means create the folder, and over here you just give the folder name. And also over here write exist okay equal to true, exist okay equal to true. It means that you need to create only one time, and after that if it is already created, then don't need to create again. So that's why we are getting this exist okay equal to true. If the file is already existing, no need to create that. If it is not created, then create it. So the first time it will create, and second time whenever this file will try to run under this log, log info or log error, it will check whether this file is created. If it is created, it will not create it again. It will not overwrite that. Okay. So now let's try to execute and let's see that we have some error or it is able to run this. I'll just write over here test.py. There is some issue. Unrecognized argument file path. Where is the issue? Logger input logging. Basic config. This is creating issue over here actually. File path. It should not be file path. It should be file name, I think. Now let's try to execute. Make it clear first. Then execute this test.py. Yeah, it is executed already. And you will see that it has created log artifact. Under the log artifact, there should be log, but it is not showing. But it can showing over here. This means I am able to execute till here. Print from root. It is giving you this path actually. This path. Now try to get the file path also. Print, let's debug. We have some issue with this log file path. So try to debug this. Okay. Now let's execute this again. So you are able to create this. Till here we are reaching. So log file path, correct only. Or maybe you have to write this on the top. Maybe let me write this over here, then comma, and this one from here to here. Okay. And then perfect. Now let's try to execute that. We are able to get something. Log artifact. No, it is not showing anything. It is not able to actually write the log file. Okay, I'm passing over here log file name. It should be log file path, which is this one. I'm doing mistake, guys, over here. That's why it is creating the issue. Now, if you see, it has created this. See, and under this log, we have a label name, file name, message, a line number, everything. What we are getting over here, we are getting the path of the folder basically. So over here, if you want to see, I'm importing the logging. I'm importing OS. Why? Because I want to create the folder and I want to create this path. For that, I'm importing the OS. Then from root, I'm importing from root. What it is giving actually, see, I want to create the folder under this directory, which is already I have a Python for all YT playlist. But to reach over here, to make the complete path, I have to write from like this. Let me show you this. I want to write this way, but this is my system, so I know that this is the path to reach to this folder. But let's assume that you are writing this code and you want to productionize this, you want to deploy this. So whenever it will run into the Docker image, Docker container, you don't know the path. So for that, it is easy if you write from root. It means that it will give you the path of your folder from the root. So at the end, this from root is giving me this path. Okay, then what I'm doing, that I am creating the complete path, which is this one, which is basically this one. After YT playlist, I am using log artifact, and then this one, timestamp.log. Perfect. So this log artifact is not created, so that's why I'm using os.makedir, means make folder, and folder name is log artifact, and if exist equal to true. And then I'm printing over here because I want to show you the path over here. Now I'll remove this part over here. Perfect. Now what I have done, basically label is same, log info, force equal to true I have mentioned. Format, I have used whatever it was before. I have just used the file name and file mode. If you want, you can pass this all from here to here also. That's not any problem. Now let's try to execute this again, guys. Done. You can see the second one, that is this one, right? And you will see the complete log over here. So this is how you can write the log file. So under this, we have used the log error, you have used the log info, you have used the log warning. Debug and critical we have not used, because critical usage is very minimal in the code. But yeah, error, info, warning, you get every time whenever you are writing the production grade code. So this is all about this video, guys. I think you have understood in which scenario, which type of logging you have to write into the code. So thank you so much. Please stay connected and see you in the next video, guys. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much.